I own a home service business that installs temporary Christmas lights every single year between October and November and a tiny bit of December. We did $800,000 in last year's install, and this year we're on track to do $1 million after we added a permanent lighting brand. One of the biggest mistakes that I made growing these businesses was not investing in a truck wrap that actually grabs attention early on. It was always something I put on the back burner and something that I didn't really focus on. And so I wanna show you guys what our trucks looked like previously and then what our new van wrap looks like now. And it overall is another piece that will absolutely build trust in prospects and be one of those things that clearly sets you apart from the competition. So in this video, we're gonna go over specifically how we got the van wrap, how we got the mock-up, the timetable we had for all of the installation, all the costs associated with it, and the results that we've already gotten from it. And then also go back and look at our previous vehicles and show you the difference and why we think this van wrap is working so well. So if you take a look with me here, here's our brand new permanent lighting company's wrap. And a few things that I do want to touch on in terms of how we got to this design is I looked at all of the really big home service brands in the country. So if you think about the massive plumbing companies in your market, the massive, like, you know, in our market, we're in Arizona, so A1 Garage Door is like a big recognizable name. One thing I noticed across the board was a lot of these truck wraps had their logos, and then they had like a secondary mascot of sorts. And I think the reason behind the secondary mascot type feel on all of these wraps was like, if you're gonna invest in a wrap, you're gonna invest in something that stands out and grabs attention. The thing that I think is always funny is like when guys are going to get a wrap and they do the baseline color white or they do the baseline color black and they spend, you know, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000 on just the installation. And I don't think it's really grabbing attention. And so for us, we wanted it to really pop, really stand out and be like a giant mobile billboard in town while also staying in line with brand. And so what we did with this one is that we actually generated this cactus secondary logo here. And then we had like a design firm throw all the wrap design together. So when you're looking at it from afar, you're like, oh, that's really nice. It's got like, you know, some gold, some whatever else. But actually to get it designed, if you look up closely, like we have, this was a secondary image that we sent to a designer, and then we had them build something out. And one of the things that I wanted, and I made a huge emphasis on with the wrap, was like, I don't want the primary color black. I don't want the primary color white. I want this thing to stand out with our company's brand colors so that when we're driving through traffic, we're not just gonna blend in. And so what I mean by blend in is if you come over and look at these trucks, again, this is a learning experience. All of the way we've documented all of these businesses is like, I'm not saying I have all the answers, I'm sharing from along the way. And so when we got these vehicles this year, we got them in about, what was it, Jack, August? We got them in August of this year, and we're gonna start installing and training guys in September. And so I just didn't have time to get them wrapped. Jack and I talked about it and we were like, okay, let's just get some magnets on them and just go. And when you look at this side by side with the other vehicles, sure, we put some wreaths on it to make it look somewhat better. But when you look at like our magnets, we just rushed through it. We just wanted to have something that when we showed up at houses, they knew it was us, and it built a little bit of like trust that these are the guys that they signed up to have come out and didn't sub out some other company. But if you look at this, you know, like if this truck pulls up next to you in traffic, you're not calling that phone number. Your attention isn't being grabbed by that at all. It's barely even inviting you to call. And so if you look, like if Jake, if you pan out on this truck and you see like, it just looks like every other work vehicle. It looks like every single electrical contractor that's working for the city or a gas contractor that's working for the city. It's not explicitly inviting people to take a look at your brand. And then you compare it side by side with this. When this pulls up next to you in traffic, the cartoon character is obviously like, if a kid's in the car, it's gonna grab the kid's attention. They're gonna say, Mom, look at this, whatever else. But also like if this pulls up next to you, you cannot stop but look. Like you cannot help yourself but stop and look. And I think that's the key differentiator that I saw with a lot of the big brands that had these truck wraps is very few of them went subtle. Like the vast majority of people, when they get their truck wraps and their van wraps, they go for like the wow factor and the pizzazz and make it stand out. And I think we accomplished that here. And so a few of the things that I noticed that you want to have on every single wrap is on the front and back, you want to have a QR to book. And so we made sure to have that in there. And then if you go to the back side, one of the most important parts of the van wrap is the back. because when you're stopped in traffic at a light, that's your best opportunity for somebody to actually stop and take a picture. And so what we did is we also put the cartoon guy on the back to grab attention, and then we put a clear run into of our website with big bold letters, phone number, and then the clear QR code to scan with exactly what we're doing on here. Specifically the guys in like lighting and other businesses that have like multiple services. What I've seen a lot of wrap guys do, and what I've heard from a lot of the big companies, the 8-9 figure home service brand owners that they say people do wrong, is they try to put so many services on the wrap that it overwhelms the audience and they don't even know what they do. And so for us, the temptation was like, well, we also do temporary holiday lighting. Let's put that on the wrap too. And we also do this, we also do that. We also do bistro lighting, and we could do wedding lighting if we wanted to. And then eventually like you're filling your wrap with a bunch of text to the point where it looks like a really gaudy mobile billboard than it does like a very clear, informative, brand building, lead generating mobile billboard. If you want any social proof about it, Jack and the crews are pretty convinced that they don't think that anybody ever called from the magnets for obvious reasons. Most of our calls came from the A-frames on site and other things like that during the temporary business. Jack's been driving this around for about 6 days now, and we already got a $5,000 job booked from an organic call that Jack thinks came from the truck wrap because it was in an area that he was driving. And so to wrap it up, if I'm gonna pay thousands of dollars for a truck wrap, for a van wrap, for anything else, I'm going to make it worth it. I'm not gonna be subtle. Like for you guys and people that are like, oh, but like the gaudy wrap, it might be a little, if I go all red or if I go all blue and make it really pop, like, oh, it might be like bad for my brand. I would challenge you, and it's the same conversation I have with myself. What brand? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but what brand are you trying to protect? If you're doing less than a few $1 million a year in one market, you don't have a brand to protect and like try to stay subtle and within brand standards. Like at this stage in our business, we want to pop, we want to stand out, we want to generate leads. I don't care about the fact that like this is somewhat aggressive on the street compared to other vehicles. That's what I want. I paid thousands of dollars for it. I want it to stand out. I want it to generate phone calls. I don't want to look like this city utility guy. I want it to stand out. And so the thing that makes it work so well, especially when we're on site, is when we pull up in this vehicle, we're also gonna come out and we're gonna do the A-frame and do everything else in the neighborhood that we talk about. And so now when we come into a neighborhood and we're doing an install, there is no doubt in anyone's mind what we do, what we're there to do, and every other aspect of our business. Because when we pull in there, they're gonna see this giant mobile billboard that's 10 times the size of the A-frame. They're gonna get the A-frame in the street, which is more of a direct call to response marketing. Like this doesn't have a ton of calls to action on them or CTA. It's not saying like call now everywhere on the wrap. It's much more subtle in terms of call to actions. Whereas the A-frame is very clear and aggressive that we want people to go and commit to actually reaching out to us there. And so if you think about it, the biggest change we saw and why we're so excited about adding this wrap to the mix is when we focused on generating leads on site in existing jobs, that's when the business exploded and became super profitable. And so when we're doing a job now, we pull up with the wrap on site, the A-frames going out. We're gonna do door hangers to the closest 10 to 15 houses. We have an automated postcard campaign that's synced to our CRM where every single time a job gets closed out, postcards go out that say, we just did your neighbor's lights last week. Do you want a quote? You know, something like that on the postcards. We're getting photo Google reviews on site, and then our CRM is automating the Google reviews, the Google review nurtures after we close out a job as well to clean up anybody that was missed. We're getting video testimonials with customers that have already paid that are happy with our work to put on our website and our socials. And again, all of these things are things that we're committed to generating more jobs when we're already on site. And this is just another piece. You have to get off of the paid ads hamster wheel. Take it from the guy that was basically growing the entire business off of just paid ads for 3 years. The biggest jump we had was when we committed to the on-ground strategy and committed to scaling ads simultaneously. That's the biggest difference maker we've seen. All right, so you've finished your episode of Pimp My Ride. You've seen my whip. You've seen the upgrades. Now, if you want to get more info, feel free to subscribe to this channel. You can see me documenting all of our company's journeys in the home service space. You could also follow me on Instagram. And then if you actually want to join the Home Service Accelerator, that currently as filming has 280 home service business owners that have all started to run their own Facebook ads, have all started to optimize their Google Maps SEO themselves, and join the best community of home service business owners in the entire country. Feel free to go to homeserviceaccelerator.com. It's going to be linked in the description. You could book a call with our team and see if you're a good fit for that mastermind community group. See you there.